So I actually did this video on location, on set yesterday, but then I realised my little girl was wearing her school uniform and I'm not really sure how I feel about my little girl's school, where she goes to school, being on the internet. I haven't really sat with it long enough to feel into, but at the moment it doesn't feel right to have that over the internet. I'm sure it's somewhere on the internet, but just at the moment it doesn't feel right. Not that I need to explain myself to anybody. I just wanted to share that with you. And the reason I share it is because yesterday it was a real genuine cool video. Let me set the scene for you, right? I'm sat in my car, in the driver's side, obviously we're parked up. I'm videoing it on my phone like this, and in the back corner you've got my kids. And you got my little boy who's like got no clothes on. You can't see anything, and you just see his head. But he's got no clothes on in the back. And I'm like, so I'm holding my camera, and I'm like, Jude, why have you got no clothes on, and why are you in the back of the car? And he's like, because I've just thrown up everywhere in the front. I was like, where did it go? And he was like, it went everywhere. It went on the chair, it went in the door, it went on the floor. And then my little girl pipes up and she goes, and it went all over the coats, everybody's coat. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what happened. It went everywhere. But here's the thing. I then said to my little boy, I was like, how did Daddy react? Because I was driving at the time. It came out of nowhere. Like, it was driving and then he's just gone, bleh, like, everywhere. He's totally fine now, and for the people that are like, oh my god, is he okay? Yeah, he's absolutely fine. It was just like a little tummy bug. And then here's the reason why I wanted to like share this and the message that was behind it. I said to him, I said, hey Jude, that sounds like a song. They should make a song called that. I didn't say that, but I said, Jude, how did Daddy react? And he was like, cool and calm. And the reason he asked me, the reason he responded like in a quizzical way is like, why are you even asking me that? Is because like before, this wasn't how I used to react. But now, because I've done so much inner work on this stuff, and this is the purpose of the video, he was like, well, of course you reacted cool and calm, because that's what you do in situations. That's the message behind this video. Because here's the thing. It's never, ever, ever, ever about what happens to you, what life does to you, what people do to you, around you, with you, in your presence. It's never about your kids. It's never about your parents. It's never about your siblings. It's never about the person you're in a relationship with. It's never about work. It's never about the government. It's never about other countries. It's never about anything out there, ever. Your mood, your energy, your state, your vibe, your health, wealth, well-being, happiness is never to do with anything out there, any event ever. And I hope that this message triggers some people, because hopefully they'll realize that there's truth behind it, and they'll have evolution, and they will have growth. Evolution and growth like this. Thumbnail for the video. So, what is it to do with then? If life isn't about, and your happiness isn't about what happens out there, and if your mood isn't about, and your energy isn't about what happens out there, what's it about? It's about how you respond to it. Because here's the thing, there's two ways that yesterday could have gone when Jude threw up the last 4 weeks worth of food into the front of my car while I'm driving on a hot day. Two ways. One, the way that it happened, and what I did was the cool, calm, okay, cool, let's just pull over, let's open the door, Jude, if there's any more, like, get outside, please, and then make sure he's okay, and then, so, like, here's the heartbreaking thing, he was like, Dad, I'm sorry, I'm like, right now, perfect time to program you in a high emotional state. Don't ever apologize for anything ever. Don't apologize. It is what it is. It is what it is. If you feel bad for doing that, let's do everything you can to not just make it better, but to make sure you don't do it again if you feel bad for whatever it is, whether it's being sick, whether it's lying, cheating, stealing, hurting anybody in the future, or yourself, making bad decisions. Never apologize for it. That's another video for another day. But owning what's happened, and then go, right, this is a video for another day, but it's basically essentially owning what's happened and then taking the lesson from it and then upgrading and moving forwards. Because if you say sorry, you label yourself as someone who's like guilty and shameful and sinful for doing something, and then you're more likely to repeat it in the future. You're not reprogramming anything. So straight away when he was like, Dad, I'm sorry, I'm like, boom, he's in a high emotional state, which means he's going to learn a lesson. Or he's more open to programming and learning a lesson. So I'm like, whoa, right there, stop. Never apologize for everything. He was like, huh? I was like, never apologize for anything, okay? You're being sick, it's not your fault. So you don't get to apologize for it because it's not your fault. He was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm like, you all right? He was like, yeah, I'm fine. So he was just kind of like chilling out while I was cleaning the car. Fortunately, being a dad, you carry like tissues and stuff with you. So like I've always got loads of water in my car anyway. So I'm like hosing down the thing and cleaning it all out. And people are like walking past and I'm just like, clean it all out. So there's that way that you could react. Is cool, calm, chill, sort the situation out, make sure everyone's okay that's in the situation, and then fix it. Second way is lose your shit, especially as a parent. Get angry, get mad. I've got a bed down there, well, kind of there, that's got pen all over it. So I go to my little girl, and I go, Mags, why is there pen all over my bed? Here's what she said. Oh, I wanted your bed to be more colourful. It's not very colourful. I wanted it to be more colourful. Two ways that can go. What are you doing? You don't draw on beds. You only draw on paper. Maggie, you're such a bad person. That's so bad. You're so naughty. Go and sit on the naughty step. I can't believe it. You ruined the bed. Trauma. Lifetime of pain and then therapy when she's 35, 40. Or, oh, babe, that's so cute. Thank you very much for thinking of me and wanting to colour in my bed. How about next time if you want to colour in my bed, are you okay to come and ask Daddy if you can colour in the bed? Because it's not very colourful. And how about you draw a design on some paper, what you want my bed to look like. And then we'll go on Amazon and we'll see if there's any bed sheets that look like that. So you don't have to waste time drawing and colouring in the bed because it's a really big bed and you've only got little tiny hands. Or something to that effect. Again, one of two ways it could go. I could create trauma in my little girl, or we could not create trauma in my little girl. This video is pretty much for parents, but it's also for you if you've got trauma bonds going through life, or you're repeating a pattern that you don't want. So a lot of women, they date like toxic men. Men that aren't there emotionally. Why? Because their dads weren't there emotionally. A lot of dads weren't there physically for their daughters, but a lot of men weren't there emotionally either. So a lot of girls will date that kind of guy and go, God, I don't know why I'm dating him. I don't know why I'm doing it. I don't know why I keep going back. He's such an arsehole. I don't know why I keep going back. I don't know why I do that. It's because you've got a trauma bond there. It's because that's what you associate safety with. Because when you were a little girl, that's what you knew men were like. You knew that. Even if you didn't want it and you didn't like it and it didn't make you happy, you knew it. You knew that behavior. You understood and you knew that behavior. It was familiar. And our egos like familiarity. Because essentially, if you imagine there's a part of your brain that is still the caveman, the cavewoman, you know your cave. You know your little cave. You know your cave. Now, sometimes the firewood runs out and so does the food. So even though you know you want food, you want firewood, and your life will get better with those two things, the dark, damp, cold, foodless cave is familiar. So while other cavemen and women are saying, hey, go out and hunt, go out and scavenge, go out and find food and get firewood and stuff, you're like, I really, really want to, but there's saber-toothed tigers out there and this is really safe in my cave. That's how most humans are operating, from fear and certainty, from what they know, even if they don't want it, from what they know. So you can look at your life and you go, right, what patterns am I running that I'm not happy with, that I need to let go of? For example, like me with the kids. I used to be that angry parent that used to shout at everything. And then I did the self-reflection. I'm like, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be shouting at my kids all the time. I don't want to do that. And usually that's enough to make transformation and change, by the way. That decision is usually enough. I only ever get clients come to work with me when they've decided that they're ready to make a change. I do very little sales and marketing and persuasion and influence stuff because I don't want to persuade and influence people. I want to bring people in when they've made that decision. Because when I've worked with people in the past that I've sold into my stuff and I've convinced and I've manipulated and I've influenced, they've been terrible clients. Every single time, bar none. Terrible clients. Because they hadn't made the decision to change. They got sold into it emotionally. They hadn't made the decision to change. And it's the decision that creates the change and the lasting transformation. So I decided, I was like, I'm not going to be that dad again. I'm not going to do it because I know the trauma that it creates when you say you are bad, you are naughty, you are. When you label that child, that's a because between the ages of 2 and 7, we're in a hypnotic state. So anything you say or anything anyone says to a 2 and a 7, between a child between the age of 2 and 7, especially when they're in a heightened emotional state, will get programmed into their psyche, you get programmed into their mind, into their ego, into their subconscious. And they'll run that pattern for most of their life unless they go and see somebody who can remove that pattern and program and instill a new one. That's what I do with pretty much all my clients now. Because I've had to do it myself. And I see the benefit of letting go of the old programs, the old patterns, the old stories, the old beliefs about myself. When you extract them and put new ones in that actually serve you, oh man, life gets so much better. And I really hope people have watched to this point in the video, because this is where the power is. This is where the value is. This is where the magic happens. When you go, oh my God, I'm aware of that pattern, the program now. I'm aware of how I react in this situation, in this circumstance. I don't want that anymore because it's not leading to the outcome that I want. I want peace and happiness and joy and ecstasy and all the time. I don't just want it sometimes. I want it all the time, 24/7. I want bliss, joy, ecstasy. I can't even say it. I'm so excited. Excitement. All of the high vibe feeling. I want all those feelings all the time. Doesn't mean I'm delusional. Doesn't mean I'm not living in the real world. I want to feel like that all the time. So when that's my decision, my intention, all of my actions go through that filter, and all my responses go through that filter. Does it lead me to joy by shaming my kid for throwing up in my car? It doesn't lead me to joy, so I don't do it. It's just a natural byproduct of my intention and my desires and my identity of the type of person that I am. Sometimes stuff still triggers me, sometimes, and I'll react in a way that isn't in alignment with my intentions, dreams, desires, and goals. Sometimes, but that's part of human evolution. That's what we're all here for, growth and evolution. So I get to look at that and go, I need to do the work there. And then I do the work very quickly because I know how to do it, and then I remove the old program and I put a new one in and we run on the new program. So, still not sure on the title of this video, not sure even on the thumbnail caption, but I know it's something to do with, it's never about what happens to you in life, it's how you respond. And the power is in the response, never in what's happened. It's the power for you to be empowered to go through life. Is how you're responding to situation. Does a situation, a circumstance, person own you and your emotion and your energy? Or do you own your emotion and your energy? That's it. That might be the title. That might be the thumbnail. Do you own your energy? That might have to be the thumbnail one. Do you own your energy? Or is it at the whim of the external? The power, your power lies in owning your energy, protecting your energy, and not reacting to stuff out there. And if you do, it's just triggering something that needs to be worked through and processed. It's never about anybody else. It's always about you. You could find examples and proof and evidence that it is about them, but then you're not doing the work. That lets you off the hook with doing the growth, which your ego doesn't want to do. It wants you to keep you in that cave. It doesn't want you to go and get food and firewood. The ego wants to keep you in the cave. The question is, do you want to stay in your cave, or do you want to go and get food and firewood? I'll leave that last question with you. Thank you very much for watching. I'll speak to you soon.